it's Paula. Welcome to my channel. I do videos on handbags, lifestyle hauls, travels, and just your general day-to-day life. So if that sounds like a cup of tea, please do consider subscribing to my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. So yesterday I got a notification via email that Loewe Online is currently holding a sale, and the average discount is around 30%, which is a pretty good deal considering the fact that Loewe isn't exactly the cheapest of brands. And if you've been eyeing some items for a while, it would be worth a visit just because they have some of the classic items on sale. If I'm not mistaken, there are around 500 items that are currently discounted and around 30 plus bags that are discounted. So that's actually a pretty good selection. Now I've had experience purchasing directly from their local store here in the Philippines. I'm currently based in the Philippines, but I've also had experience purchasing directly from their online store, which, at least in my case, shipped directly from Spain. Today we're going to focus on the online purchase process. And yes, if you're based in the Philippines, you can actually get a bag directly from their online store and it gets shipped directly from Spain. You pretty much don't have to pay anything other than the price that's already quoted on the website, which is pretty surprising, I know, but I wanted to talk about like the process and how to ensure that you don't have any other fees that you have to pay or prepare for when you do decide to purchase something from their online store. So for easier reference, I will divide this video into several parts and I will be referring a lot to my notes, so I hope you don't mind if I do look at my phone every so often. But yeah, so today I will divide this video into several parts. The first one will be on the purchase process, and then the second is what you would have to prepare as you wait for your package. The third is what you need to look out for and whether you actually need to pay anything. And the last one is the overall experience of purchasing directly from their online store. If you're interested in some of these parts more than others, what I'll do is I'll leave the timestamps down below in the description box so you can just skip to the parts that you want to hear more about and, basically not waste time on the parts that you don't want to hear about. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So last May 23, 2021, I saw this horseshoe bag in the midnight wine colorway with silver hardware online. It was one of the three, if I'm not mistaken, three colorways that were available for their horseshoe bags that were at 30% discount, and I immediately fell in love with it. I just wanted to mention that this was actually available in our local store as well, but not in this colorways. And the website said that they do deliver it to the Philippines, so I figured I'll take the plunge and made this purchase. So I purchased this on the 23rd and then it got shipped to me 3 days after. So the shipping process started 3 days later. So it was pretty straightforward. I clicked on the item, placed it in my cart, checked out, wrote down all my details, my address, my full name. I don't typically use my full name because it's shipping from Europe. I kind of didn't want to take that risk. And I also made sure that my mobile number there is correct. Essentially, it was a pretty straightforward process. Checked out and then got my invoice immediately. About a couple of days later, I got an email from Loewe essentially verifying my order and my identity through like an ID as well as a photo of the card that you used, but with only like the last 3 digits visible. So within the same day, I did get a confirmation from Loewe that, my identity and my order have been confirmed and that they were going to start the shipping process already. Now, if you go on their website, if you click on shipping and returns, it will show you that the Philippines is actually one of the countries in the Asia Pacific region where they do ship directly. The estimated delivery time is, and take note of this, it's 2 to 7 business days, not calendar days, it's business days. On the 26th, that's when I got a notification that the shipping process had started. Now, Loewe has a shipping arrangement with DHL, and I will get into the technicalities of it a little later, but your package, if you do decide to get something from their online store, your package is going to be tagged as DDP. And DDP stands for Delivered Duty Paid. Made its way from Spain to Germany, and then Hong Kong, and then Manila. It arrived in Manila on the 1st of June, so it's actually a pretty quick trip, right? But for some odd reason, it wasn't getting cleared. When you do purchase from their online store, the price that will get quoted is inclusive of everything. It's free shipping, shipping, you don't have to pay customs duties or anything else, storage fees or whatnot. Everything is covered, and that's why it's tagged as DDP. Because it's my first time making a purchase from Loewe, and I haven't really had a great experience with other brands when it comes to like purchasing from their online store overseas, I was still prepared for the possibility of having to pay something. But you know, I wanted to test it out. They did confirm that I didn't have to pay anything. It was essentially price that was quoted online. That's everything. Not long after, I got an email from DHL saying that because the price quote of the item is more than $1,000, I had to execute an affidavit stating that it's for personal use and that it's not for resale. That I had to send it back to DHL within a certain period of time, and in the meantime, they were going to charge me for storage fees. So what I did was I forwarded that email to Loewe. I was particularly questioning the storage fees. I was very particular about, you know, like notice what I was signing up for. Like essentially I was very particular about like details and the fine print, right? So I had forwarded the email to Loewe, and at the same time I replied to DHL copying Loewe, saying that, okay, I'll accomplish that affidavit and I'll revert to you immediately, but that like you have to give me proper notice of when this storage fee is supposed to kick in, because until and unless you give me that, I will refuse to pay for that. Not long after, I got an email from Loewe saying that I wasn't supposed to pay for anything. Like everything is covered by the price that I already paid for, which confirmed my suspicion that again, I really didn't have to pay for anything. And while, as I said, I have to keep saying this because I feel like if you're from the Philippines, you're kind of wary of certain things more than others would be. But I was prepared to pay whatever it is that I needed to pay. But at the same time, if I didn't really need to pay for those quotes, then why would I, right? So I got an email from Loewe saying that I actually don't have to pay for anything and that I was not supposed to pay for any storage fees. That was not part of what I had to cover, essentially because I didn't have to cover anything. So what they did was their DHL representative in Madrid had coordinated with the DHL representatives here. But you know, in the meantime, I kept getting these emails like from DHL saying that I had to pay for storage fees. So, and every time they would send that, I would forward it to Loewe, and you know, I would apologize to Loewe as well because I felt like I kept pestering them about it. But at the same time, like as a consumer, like I felt like it was my right to, you know, check and to make sure that I was not being duped, right? Finally, it got cleared, but it was still taking forever to get to me. Like it's been cleared, but it wasn't moving. And I do understand that they've had to make arrangements for transporting it from Manila to where I currently live because I don't live in the capital, but it wasn't moving. Essentially, it wasn't moving. You know, after several days of back and forth, I was really just starting to get annoyed. And, you know, I reached a point where I did disclose this to Loewe as well, that I was sure to return the item. Finally, it started to move, but it was such a slow, painful process. And it required a lot of like phone calls to DHL, emails to DHL, emails to Loewe just to coordinate that. And eventually on the 17th day from the day that I made the purchase and 14th day from the day it got shipped, it finally reached me. I love this bag, and you know, I guess to some extent it was worth the trouble, but I do love this bag and I'm glad that I had bought it when I did. If you start hearing cats meowing, please excuse them. Those are my cats. So that's essentially the whole process. Now on to what you need to prepare to get that whole purchase experience completed. So at the level of purchasing from their online store, you have to prepare like a government issued ID that would confirm your identity as well as the card that you used. And I'm not sure if in your succeeding purchases, they'd still require this, but as a security measure, I do understand that they would require it on your first purchase. So yeah, just have those ready. As soon as customer service contacts you, at least you have those in your file already. Now, the second thing that you need to prepare would be the affidavit. If the item that you've bought is worth more than $1,000. Basically just stating that, okay, like I made this purchase, it's tagged under DHL tracking number, yada yada yada, and that I had purchased it for my personal use and that I wasn't going to sell it on, or it wasn't for commercial use essentially. Now the most important thing that you need to prepare is yourself, a lot of patience, a lot of prayers. No, you need a lot of patience, because honestly, you know, even if it was just 17 days, felt like a lifetime. Like the stress that I experienced, just, you know, going back and forth with DHL, making all those phone calls that I felt could have been avoided if they had just been clear about their processes. Yeah, a lot of patience, like a lot of patience. So what do you need to look out for, and do you actually have to pay for anything else other than what you already paid for when you purchased the item online? Wow, do you guys hear that bird? Isn't that pretty cool? Sorry. Yeah, you need to make sure that you're able to monitor your package. You can just go to the landing page of DHL, input your tracking number, or even click on the link that Loewe will send to you. But I guess the more important question to answer is whether you need to pay anything else. And the answer is no, actually. I mentioned earlier in this video that your package is going to be tagged as DDP, or delivered duty paid. I will leave a link down below as well. But essentially what delivered duty paid means is that it's a delivery agreement or delivery arrangement where the seller, in this case Loewe, assumes all of the responsibility, risk, and costs associated with transporting goods until the buyer receives or transfers them at the destination port. This agreement includes paying for shipping costs, export and import duties, insurance, and other expenses incurred during shipping to an agreed upon location in the buyer's countries. Essentially, Loewe had taken on the responsibility and all the expense, which is already passed on to you as part of the purchase price, for ensuring that the item that you purchase gets to you. So the short answer is, you don't have to pay for anything, except the items. And now we end this video with the overall experience and whether I would recommend for you to purchase anything from Loewe online. It was a pretty exhausting experience, to be perfectly honest. It felt like pulling teeth for the most part. But, you know, if you have the patience for it, and if you're the sort who would like really monitor things and really push for your rights, it's fine if you have the energy for that. Personally, I'd probably not buy from their online store ever again. It wasn't the most pleasant of experience, and even if I do love my horseshoe bag, I can't go through that again. That said, there are some items on their online store that are only available on their online store, and we do have a local store here in the Philippines. It's based in Mandaluyong City, and they have amazing pieces as well, and they go on sale as well. You know, they do have some items online that are not available locally. That means that if there are items that are only available online, chances are it's only going to be available online and you'd have to make that purchase there. Overall, would I recommend it? Probably not. If you're in the Philippines, probably not. It's too much stress, it's too much trouble. But I will say this though, I am so grateful to Loewe for the amazing after sale services. The assistance that they've extended to me from the very beginning up to the time that I got the item was exceptional. I'm sure at some point they were getting irritated by all my follow-ups, but at the same time, as a consumer, that's your right? So I'm very grateful to Loewe's customer service for all the assistance that it has extended to me throughout that whole process. And I'm also very grateful to DHL, and I will leave her name on the screen. Grateful to DHL's customer assistant who assisted me from the moment that it got released to the regional courier, all the way through the time that it got to me. Like, she's amazing. I would like to commend her, and I hope she gets the bonus and the promotion that she so deserves. Like, that kind of assistance is pretty amazing, and I guess when you're in the Philippines, you get excited about experiences like that. But yeah, she emailed me, she called DHL's head office in Manila, she coordinated with the regional courier. I got to speak with her for the first time at around 5:30 in the afternoon, and then she committed to kind of fix it and that she was gonna call me first thing the following morning, and she did that. Like, she called me at 7:30 the following day to update me about where it was. And when the courier was on his way to me, she would actually call me every so often to check, on whether I've received like a text message from the courier or if I had gotten the item and whatnot. So I really just appreciated all that assistance. So it was an experience that felt like pulling teeth, but at the same time, I did get to experience really amazing assistance and accommodation from some of the best customer assistants that I've ever encountered in my whole life. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and please do consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye! Happy shopping!